Hi, y'all. My name is Jessica, and this is a Two Sticks and String podcast. This is a podcast all about knitting, crochet, cross stitch, K-pop, and cats. Because who doesn't need a good cat in their life, right? This one is my house panther, Berlin, and Bella's around somewhere, I am sure. Let's start off with a few things. First off, if you want to get in touch with me, you can find me on Instagram as Armywifeknitlife or Armywifeknitlife D-stash. And since I've gotten more into makeup lately, I also have an Armywife Knitting Life project pan. So you're more than welcome to contact me on any of those. I also have Ravelry though, and so that is Armywifeknitlife. And there's also the group Two Sticks and String podcast. Just look for Betrayal of the Owl. You see him at the beginning of every episode that I do, and you'll know you're in the right spot. All right, those are the big things to get out of the way. Hi, welcome to new viewers, and welcome back to returning viewers. It is officially January 5th, 2023. Wow. I started this podcast about 5 years ago. And I am not consistent at all. But I try really hard to come back when I have good things to show, and I love doing it. It's not always regular, but I have fun, and I enjoy getting to talk to some other people in the yarny community. So let's get started, okay? All right, first off, announcements. Color Your Stash 2022 is over. I have drawn for prizes. I actually did a live draw on New Year's Day in a Zoom group hosted by Diary of a Physicist Farm Gal. There were 16 people in there at the time, and it was not recorded, but it was done fairly. Everyone witnessed it, and Deborah won both prizes again because she's been participating so much and working so hard. I know that there were a few other people that were putting in a project or two, but it's hard when you have my awesome friend Deborah putting in like 20 projects versus 2. It's just probability and odds. I promise it's not rigged. I promised it was on the up and up and 100% honest. It's just what happened. So she won both prizes. I will be sending those out to her soon. Congratulations, Dr. Deborah. I had so much fun getting to see her while I was in town. I don't want to say in town because I wasn't in Conway, but I was visiting my parents, and I saw her on the drive back from Branson with my mother, and I had so much fun, and I am so glad I get to call you my friend. Okay, moving on from that, we have a new knit along going on. This is not one where you can necessarily win a prize, but it's a participation thing, and it is the Kelvin Shawl. It is being hosted by myself, Deborah of Diary of a Physicist Farm Gal, and the designer, Kirsty, who is Grenaic Podcast. And I had a lot of trouble pronouncing that. But that's their podcast, and it's absolutely wonderful. They're based in Scotland. Go watch them. Okay. All right. You'll see my Kelvin Hall shawl in a little bit. But until then, I am also participating in the Year of the BAP, which, if you are not aware, it's a big $$ project. And I am doing the Adventurous cardigan with Deborah and our friend Tyra. So will be casting that on most likely tomorrow, but I haven't gotten there quite yet. I needed some brain space, and my winter class just recently ended, so I can actually finally do it. All right. Since we are in a new year, let's have a year-end wrap-up. First off, I finished 37 projects, which is a lot, and I earned, you know what this is. Let me just place this on my head really quickly. I earned my yardage and weight tiaras. There we go. Isn't it shiny and pretty and sparkly? I always tell my hubby a girl's favorite color is shiny. Simple truth. Simple, simple truth. Okay. We're going to sit like this while I do my wrap up before I put my tiara away because it deserves to be looked at, doesn't it? Just in case you don't know, this is a Kashmere style from Sweet Bee. They're very affordable. I found it on House of Bezos, Amazon. It was less than $30 and it's wonderful. I'm that kind of nerd. Okay, so I earned my yardage and weight tiaras. So I used, destashed, or gave away 34,979.6 yards of yarn, and that is the equivalent of 13,493 grams. That's a lot. That is, especially when you think about the fact that most skeins are 100 grams. That's a lot of yarn. That's a lot of yarn. And I still have way too much to go to get my stash to a reasonable, manageable amount where I'm not overwhelmed. So we are going to try for the yardage and weight tiaras yet again. I participate in that in the Knit Picks and More Stash Down group on Ravelry. And it's really fun. It just keeps us all motivated. There's different challenges every month. And you just check in with how you're doing on your usage. Also, while I am thinking of it, there's another Cowl I will be participating in. And it is the Amigurumi Smackdown from Diary of a Physicist Farm Gal, my friend Deborah. And the trash talk that has already started in our little Zoom group is real. And I am here for it. And I'm going to rub all their faces in the dirt with my winnings. In a friendly way. Okay? Because I love them all and I don't want them any harm. And I do want them to win and get awesome prizes. I just want to win more than them. Because if there is a competitive person, it is me competing against myself. There was a time a few years ago someone said I could not finish 15 projects in a month. So what did I do? I finished 15 projects in a month just to spite them and to spite myself and to make things hard for me. But it was fun to do it. Okay. We have some goals for this year. I am going to continue with my yard and weight tiaras. As I said, I want to finish 24 projects. Last year I finished 35. Well, 37. My goal was 35, which is awesome. But that goal was originally 60 projects. But I started school halfway through the year and I was working full time. So, yeah, that goal got cut in half. This year, I don't have a full-time job. I quit so I could go to school, which is fine. But this semester I'm taking 18 credit hours. I'm taking 12 credit hours over the summer. And I'm taking another 18 credit hours in the fall. So, not going to have a lot of time for knitting. So I figured this way with 24, 12 of those will be Desert Vista Dye Works projects. And that's half of my goal done. Because I don't like having a goal that's not achievable. I want to have something that I can actually do and feel good when I accomplish it. I don't want to have it so far out of reach it's impossible, because then you get discouraged and you stop. Okay. I would also like to get my queue down to 50 items. Right now I'm at 64. So about 14 things need to go or be knit up. I started last year with over 100. So I've really culled down and really thought about what I actually want to knit versus what I just thought looked pretty, what's usable for me. So I'm working really hard to make it a wearable wardrobe kind of thing. Most of the things on my queue are sweaters. And while I'm not going to get those done this year, all of them, I can get some of the accessories done. And also, my other thing that I would like to do is, you see these blue bins over here? A lot of them, not all, but a lot of them have Karen 1 pounds stuffed to the gills in them. I would like to empty one of those bins by using all of the yarn in it. I think that this is an achievable goal and I can do it. I just need to figure out something to do with it all. And it'll most likely end up being some amigurumi for the amigurumi smackdown because, as I said, I'm a win. It's that simple. Okay. All right. I do have some photos to show you. First one and most obvious. Look at it all. Oh, yes. Isn't it beautiful? Let's just get a nice little look here. This is the Find My Way sweater from Tristan of Dragon Horde Designs. The yarn was dyed by a subscriber of mine a few years ago when I still lived in Germany after I had spoken about struggling with anxiety and depression and how also being plus size means that it's not always affordable to knit an indie dyed yarn sweater in my size. And so she said, what's your favorite color? I said green, and she made this beautiful, beautiful yarn for me. And didn't it come out just so beautiful, and it fits perfectly. I have that as a finished object. And I have these done. These are my Desert Vista Dye Works socks from last month. I can't remember the name of the colorway, but you guys know I list everything I knit on Ravelry. And I knit all of my socks toe up with a fish lips kiss heel, 27 stitches on each side of the needle. Sock blockers are from Milan Jedro, a Polish designer, and this yarn is the Zian base, so it has sparkle. These are also Christmas themed ones. They just say Merry Christmas. These are for my friend Alicia, who obviously needs more socks in her life because you can't have too many hand knit socks unless you're me, because I have over 100 pairs at this point and I've run out of places to keep them. This is the second pair that I've done. This is for this month, Desert Vista Dye Works, which is the 9th annual Desert Vista Dye Works Monthly Sock Club. This is Night Fishing, and Antibes is the colorway. And again, it's the Zian base. The cuff and leg are 3 inches. I checked repeatedly. I played a little bit of yarn chicken, but there are like 2 stripes left on each ball left if I really had needed to go a little bit more. They don't match because I was working with what I had for leftovers, and the sock blockers are from Knitting Left. I'm trying really hard to use up all of my leftovers from previous Desert Vista Dye Works sock pairs so that no bit of yarn goes to waste. I just put in an order earlier this week for some of her semi-solid minis so that I can actually use. I have a few balls like this one. It's 40 grams, but I need 50 in order to be able to knit socks comfortably and that meet with the guidelines. So I ordered some minis that I can use to bolster on because all the yarn has to be Desert Vista Dye Works. So hopefully those little minis will come soon and I can get to work on those. In the meantime, I have plenty of whole skeins of Desert Vista Dye Works that I can use. I'm going to use a sock blank probably this coming month in February and the month after because I'll just split it in 2 and I will make it work until then. Hopefully by that point I will have the minis, but it's also very possible that I won't. Not a big deal. I'll cake up another skein of yarn at that point. All right, my next and last finished object. So the Night Fishing and Antibes socks count as a finish for this year. So I only have 23. And then I also have this, a 3-color cashmere cowl from Hohi Locatelli. And it is done and finished on January 1st of this year. So I only have 22 projects to go to finish my goal. Hooray! All of this yarn is Knit Picks Capretta. It was also gifted by the same person that made this beautiful yarn. It is in cream, sagebrush, and shoal. So this is the cream. This dark teal is the shoal, and then this is sagebrush right here. It was a really fun knit. I followed the pattern exactly. I just have to weave in ends. And it's a really beautiful, interesting shawl to make because pretty much it's right as you're getting tired of the pattern, it's time to switch. The only one I did not enjoy was the lace up here because I'm terrible at tracking lace. It is what it is, and that's fine. This does fit over my head though, and I am really appreciative of that because there are some cowls that are fingering weight that I don't know whose head they fit over, but they don't fit over mine. So they get put into my donation pile that I have. But this one, I get to keep. Yay. All right, I do have 2 works in progress. This is the first one, as I said. This is the Kelvin Haul Shawl by Kirsty. And if the yarn looks familiar, why, yes, you're right. I'm using my leftovers for this shawl because the yarn was so beautiful, it deserves to be used. It's that simple. This is a DK weight yarn, and the pattern is written for either 4-ply or DK, so I went with the DK. It just asked for 2 balls of DK, and I had 2 and a little left over, so I started with my leftover ball, and I will work my way through until they are all done. All right, the next one that I have, you guys have never seen before, and it is the Zadie sweater. I will put who it's by down here, you know the drill. I am just using, ooh, I'm about to lose some stitches. That was scary. All right, we're good. Okay, this is being knit in Caron 1 pound in the royal blue colorway or pale blue. Pale royal blue, so it was a mixture of the 2. Yeah. And it's a bottom-up sweater, and it's just got a little simple cable detailing on the raglan, and I just figured this will be a nice, comfy, cozy sweater to wear in the winter months or around the house. So it is being stored. Y'all, when I say I have wanted one of these bags for a long time, I wanted one in 2018, the first time I met Deborah. But I finally got it. I got a feed sack bag. Thank you. And in honor of Reese's Pieces, there's a turkey. We miss you, Reese's. So this is being stored in here so I can have my friend with me at all times. I also did a little frogging this month. If you'll remember at the beginning of January last year, I cast on the Dotted Rays by Stephen West, and there was no joy in knitting it for me at the time. I love the shawl. I want the shawl, but the yarn is just not right for it, and I'm not in a frame of mind to knit something like that right now. And I know it's one of his more simple shawls, but Short Rose and I are just not the best of friends. And so I'm constantly having to count with them and mark to track things. And there's nothing wrong with that. But once school starts, it's not going to be a fun knit for me at that point. It'll be a stressful knit, and I knit to de-stress. So it's just not going to happen right now. So I frogged it, and I reclaimed the bag it was in, and I've reclaimed the yarn it's in this bin right here, where it's kind of like my catch-all of one skein of something, and I'm not quite sure what to do with yet. So that's where we are right now. For stash enhancements, here we go. I did not purchase this. I would like that known. But it was a gift from my sister. She went to Iceland in October and gave it to me over the holidays. So I have 3 skeins of this Lopi yarn. It's from Istek, and it's called Hoseband. This is going to become a cat bed because I love my sister dearly. But it's already nice enough that she bought me yarn when she knows, but she doesn't know anything about yarn. And so it kind of, it's rustic wool, which is fine. That's what Iceland is known for. But she kind of bought a weird quantity. And so it's just like, I don't have enough to do an outer garment that's comfortable, like a sweater, which I would never expect her to buy a sweater quantity for me. But it's also yarn that's not next to skin soft. So I wouldn't be using it for a hat or a cowl or mittens for me. So it's kind of in that weird in-between spot. So it's getting used for a cat bed because the cats would love it. They've already been sniffing at it constantly. So I have that going on. It's going to be crocheted, not knit. So it's not going to be cast on, but it's going to be started soon. Life updates. I finished my winter class with an A-. Hooray! I'm a little sad because it destroyed my 4.0, but I'm now sitting at a 3.949, and just, it's so close that it's annoying. I'd rather have had like I don't know what I would have preferred, but it's too close for it to not be perfect, and it's annoying. I have that happening. I start school again next week. As I said, I'm taking 18 credit hours. I have some really interesting classes I'm looking forward to. I'm taking Intro to Religion. I'm taking Intro to Academic Research, History of Tudor-Stuart Britain, Intro to Sociology, The Making of Modern China, and Pop Culture. So I'm really excited for my pop culture class. I'm excited for the sociology course. I took a sociology one over the winter break called Social Problems, Modern Society, and my anthropology course last semester was technically a sociology course as well, but I want sociology to be my major, and so Intro to Sociology is a requirement. Well, not a major, a minor. Intro to Sociology is a minor requirement. So I'm still staying with history as my major, don't worry. But I'm excited for my classes, and my history of Tudor-Stuart Britain is with my favorite professor, so really looking forward to that one. And I have some friends in the class. So it's going to be a great semester. I know it is. It'll just be a busy one. I am going to Disney with my mother over spring break. My aunt might join us. It's not set in stone yet, but we're looking at doing that just because the Hubs is supposed to come back from his field trip probably the end of March, early April. Nothing is set in stone, but at that point it doesn't make sense for me to go meet him in Dubai or anything else for my spring break because he'll be so close to be coming back. So we're just going to try and do Disney, and if it doesn't work with park reservations, it's fine. My mom's going to come here. We're going to sit in it for a week. It's going to be fun. And that's kind of all that's going on right now, though. So until I see you next time, do what makes your heart sing. For me, it's 2, 6, and string. See ya!